Hello, this is another episode of Baseless Babble. Today we're doing week 4 of the NFL season. The Thursday night game starts in about 40 minutes, so I don't know if this is going to be uploaded. So it's going to be another one of those videos where I'm super lazy and I don't put in the photos or any of that. You're just going to have to listen to me like it's a podcast. As you know, I'm a prophet. Week 1, I went 10-6. Week 2, I went 16-0. Week 3, I went 12-4. And I feel like the only game I really got wrong was the Cowboys game because didn't really expect the Bears to be able to beat the Cowboys. However, when you think about it, it kind of makes sense. They've got pretty decent receivers. They got a mobile QB. I don't know how their defense is. They've got enough of a run game. CeeDee Lamb went down. You can maybe imagine it. So anyways, we're on week 4, Thursday night game, Seattle at the Cardinals. Gonna have to go with Seattle, I think. Sam Darnold looks fucking really good. I think Jackson Smith and Jigba's gonna have a nice game. Hopefully Kenneth Walker's healthy. I think their defense is quite good. Also, I think I heard that pretty much the entire O-line for the Cardinals is at least injured in some way. And Kyler Murray hasn't really gotten on page with his receivers, so gonna take Seattle. We've got the Vikings versus the Steelers in Ireland at 9:30 in the morning. I guess it would be around 2 p.m., 2:30 maybe, over there in Europe. Um, I was trying to think about it, like who really has the advantage. Pittsburgh is closer to Ireland, so the flight is shorter. I'm not really sure how you'd like interpret like jet lag. I know the Steelers are older. They're an older team by an average of like 1 year. But when you think about the Steelers, Aaron Rodgers is old as dirt. Cam Hayward old as dirt. Mm, I mean, TJ Watt is still like young, but he's very injured. I'm not really sure about any other old people in terms of a football career on either team. I just kind of get the vibe that Kevin O'Connell, the big cock, KOC, big cock, uh, and his team of Justin Jefferson, Jalen Naylor. I don't know if Jordan Addison's going to be really playing that much this game, even though he's unsuspended. I imagine people like Jordan Mason. I like Kevin O'Connell's headspace. I like the energy that he brings. So I feel like they feel like a younger team, and they are the younger team. So they should be more excited to play in a different country and understand what that means for the National Football League. So for those reasons, also, I mean, for those reasons, I think the Vikings are going to win. For other reasons, I mean, Carson Wentz is like he's definitely going to turn the ball over against the Steelers, but I mean, I think Jordan Mason's going to play well. I think Carson Wentz will at least distribute the ball to his playmakers, and I mean that's really all you need. I mean, Aaron Rodgers could flop. Aaron Rodgers also, I mean, Aaron Rodgers owns the Vikings. I mean, you can go with that narrative, but I mean, Harrison Smith knows Aaron Rodgers. It's not like they're you know an unknown quantity, but whatever. I don't know what the fuck I just said. Gonna go with the Vikings. Commanders at the Falcons. So basically, I don't know who's quarterbacking for Washington. To be honest, if it's Jaden Daniels, I feel like he's going to be limited in his playmaking ability. Scary Terry looks kind of rough for whatever reason. I think the run game for Washington is going to be kind of washed. I know they've lost some defensive pieces, but they should still be fine defensively. I think Debo's going to be a big win condition for the Commanders here. And honestly, if Debo gets hurt, like he's kind of known to do, then the Commanders are definitely going to lose. But if he stays healthy, it's a much closer matchup. I think the Falcons look okay defensively. I think the Falcons they look great running. I think they can beat the Commanders by just running. But if Michael Penix Jr. starts to throw the ball a little bit, maybe to Drake London, to Darnell Mooney, maybe of the 4 weeks in the NFL so far, I think Michael Penix Jr. Um, should be throwing the ball the most uh, out of those 4 weeks this week. So I'm going to take the Falcons because I believe in the run game there, at least. Next game, Saints Bills. Okay, so past 3 weeks, I've been a super huge Spencer Rattler hater, and I'm going to continue that trend. However, I have watched a little bit of film, and he's not that bad. Also, I watched some press conferences. Like, he's fine. Seems like this season he's not the one turning the ball over. Seems like they just need to start moving the ball downfield a little bit more because you have Chris Olave, you have Juwan Johnson, you have Rashid Shaheed, who's awesome. Rashid Shaheed is awesome. He could get 4 catches for 140 yards if he wanted to. So what the Saints need to do is throw the ball further down the field, and they can actually threaten the Bills this game. I didn't mention Alvin Kamara because the point I was going to make was that last week the Bills played Miami. I said Miami would keep the game competitive, but the Bills would win. That happened. When you think about the quarterback um, running back combo, there, or I don't really know where I was going to go with this, but let's just talk about the running back. Achane can get you like 8 to 10 yards per carry, like because he's so fast. But I don't really think that he thinks about the run. I don't think that he can get dirty on the run. I don't think that he's maybe. I haven't looked at the stats, but I would assume that Alvin Kamara is a better pass catcher, and that will open up the Saints' offense a lot more than Devon Achane could have, right? So along with the receivers mentioned prior on the Saints, now you have a running back who's a bit more methodical, and if as long as you don't keep doing the same playbook that you've done the past 3 weeks where you're doing short passing and you try to air it out a little bit more. And then if you do short passing, you just give it to Alvin Kamara. I think the Saints can actually beat the Bills here. However, still going to pick the Bills to win because they are the favorite. They are the better team in terms of avoiding penalties. James Cook does look good. And, I think a lot of teams in the NFL are better than the Bills in certain areas. But the Bills are, they maintain a very thin margin above most teams simply because of Josh Allen. Um, Without Josh Allen playing at such a high level that he does, the Bills would be a middle of the pack team, I feel like. And because, like, if Josh Allen has a bad game, he throws a few picks, he loses a little confidence. Maybe he breaks a rib or something when he gets sacked. Maybe he busts up his ankle running out of bounds or something. Like, you never know. The Saints could, if his level of play drops off slightly, then I think the Saints have a better receiving room. I think the running back situation, it's not really fair to say that the Bills have a better running back, but like James Cook is playing really well. I if my life was on the line, I would trust Alvin Kamara with my life more than James Cook. But Alvin Kamara's older. I don't know what the O-line situation's like. Another thing for the Saints is that groupie guy. Okay, I think he had a terrible season last year, and it seems like he's gonna have a terrible season this year. So my prediction for this game against the Bills is that he's probably gonna miss a kick that's either going to lose the Saints the game, or at least to lose them the opportunity to win them the game score-wise. And he will be fired this week. That's my prediction. I think he's already missed 2 kicks this year, and he wasn't good last year, so he's on real thin ice in my mind. And it's probably going to be like I think the books had it at like a 16-point game in favor of the Bills. I think it's going to be like a touchdown game tops. I think it's going to be like 2 field goals. So again, like I thought Miami was going to keep it competitive. They kept it competitive. I think Miami's better than the Saints, but I think the Saints play a different type of offense where they still have a decent enough chance to beat the Bills. I think maybe last week in the video I said it was like 40-60. I'm not sure if I said that, but it's probably like 40-60 the Bills. I think this week maybe it's like 34-66 or something. Like something like that. So yeah, I'll take the Bills. The next game is the Browns versus the Lions. So the Browns beat the Packers last week. I'm not going to say I predicted that because I did think that the Packers would be able to do enough where they could win by a field goal or 2, which is what I think I said that in the video too. I think it would come down to a kick, right? And the scoreline was 13-10, so that's 3 points. That's a kick. The Browns actually overperformed, or actually, you know what? Probably I didn't watch that game, but the Browns overperformed because the ceiling of Packers receivers is not as high as other teams, and I would have to assume that the Packers defense did not show up in the fashion that they usually do for whatever reason. Similar to this game against the Lions this week, I think it's going to be another tricky game. Now, they are at the Lions. They are at Ford Field. So, and, the run game looked great against the Ravens. Obviously, Jared Goff can throw. Obviously, they have receivers, which with a much higher ceiling than the Packers receivers. They've got Sam Laporta. They've got Amon-Ra St. Brown. They've got J-Mo. I'm sure they have other people there that I'm forgetting. And their run game should be more dynamic, right? They have the Sonic and fucking Knuckles, right? And it's like Josh Jacobs is good, but Josh Jacobs is running on a busted ankle, and he's only one type of runner, whereas the Lions had 2 types of runners. So I'm going to give it to the Lions. For those reasons, also, I don't think the Browns are going to play as well defensively as they did the week prior, because like eventually Jameson Williams is going to get past Denzel Ward. Like eventually he's going to run past somebody and be open. So at any moment the Lions could go up by 7. Like that's not really fair. So I'll take the Lions. A lot of tricky game, very hard week to predict. I think I had good records in prior weeks. I think this week my record might not be very good. The next game is the Panthers at the Patriots. Panthers beat the Falcons. I predicted that. And I kind of predicted it was going to be a beatdown. Maybe I didn't say it in the video, but like I thought it was going to be a beatdown because Michael Penix Jr. can't throw the ball, and until he learns how to throw the ball, he's not going to be a good quarterback. So the Patriots is a tricky one because they're in New England. I think the Patriots have a good defense. I think the Panthers have a good offense. My main concern here is Chuba Hubbard. I just don't know if he's going to be able to really break through the Patriots D-line, just due to his frame. I definitely think the Panthers can upset. And I watched Drake May last week, and I wasn't really as impressed as I was last season with him, and I have a lot of respect for the Panthers defense. So I think I'll take the Panthers here. Next game, we've got the Los Angeles Chargers at the New York Giants. Giants are playing Jackson Dart. It's dart season. Smoking some darts in Amish. I really don't think that New York understands that Russ probably wasn't the problem. The safeties and corners are shit. The defense scheme is shit. The offensive play calling is probably shit. I mean, it was good against the Cowboys, but the Cowboys are poverty, so does it really mean anything? Mike Kafka's got to go. Brian Daboll's got to go. The Giants need to learn how to develop their players better because, I mean, play calling or not, yeah, we can throw the ball to Malik Neighbors. That's going to be kind of obvious. But, like, who do you throw beyond that? There's no one to throw to. We don't get Wan'Dale involved enough. We threw away Slayton to the side, which I think Slayton's a good receiver, and if he was involved more, he would help a lot. Jalen Hyatt hasn't touched the field in 2 years, and he only knows one route because no one taught him any more routes or gave him an opportunity. And Daniel Bellinger and Theo Johnson are like fake tight ends. Because the Giants are just a joke, so I'm going to take the Chargers. Next game, the Eagles at the Buccaneers. And the Eagles look fucking terrible, and I'm really tired of, I think Drew Brees, was it Drew Brees? He came out recently, he said, oh, the Eagles look boring. Yeah, the Eagles do look fucking boring. The Eagles look fucking boring. They look boring last year. They look boring this year. I'm tired of the Eagles winning games, playing like their C game, their fucking B level game. Can they just play some S level games? Can they show their true fucking form every couple of weeks? Play some quality fucking football? Holy shit, the Eagles are boring to watch. And unfortunately, dude, Tampa Bay doesn't use their tight ends this season, really. Mike Evans is hurt. Chris Godwin's is hurt. Mbuka's really fast, but, I mean, Eagles got a nice defense. They got good safeties. They got good corners, so I don't really think he's going to make too much of an impact. I think Baker's probably still dealing with that knee. Um, I don't think the Buccaneers' run game can really save them here against the Eagles. Um, I mean, I like Baker a lot. I like the Bucks, but they're just a little banged up. And honestly, some of the Bucks wins were a little bit questionable. Like the Jets could have beat them. The Texans could have beat them. What was the week 1 game for the Bucks? The Falcons. That was a really close matchup. It came down to a kick or a missed kick, and like Young Hoku missed like 1 or 2 kicks, right? That's why he got fired. So honestly, I think this is probably the Bucks' first loss. I don't see any win condition for them here, um, unless like Sterling Shepard has like some god tier game. I just don't see it. So probably taking the Eagles there. Next game, Tennessee versus the Texans. So over the past 3 weeks, highly encourage you to go watch those videos to understand my narrative and how I'm processing the weeks. I've been hating Spencer Rattler a lot. I think the shift here in week 4 is that I'm going to start hating Michael Penix Jr. if he does not beat the Commanders, and I'm going to start hating CJ Stroud even more because if you go back and watch that Bucks game and even last week against the Jaguars, CJ Stroud looks awful, and I can only imagine that CJ Stroud's going to look real bad against this Tennessee Titans defense. I just don't see it. I don't care if I don't know anything about the record between the Titans and Houston. I don't fully trust their run game there. I think forcing the ball to Nico Collins is cool, but is Christian Kirk going to be like involved in the game plan here? Like, what are we doing? I think CJ Stroud does not know how to read the field, and I think he's not accurate for whatever reason. It's very disappointing. On the other side of that, I think Cam Ward looks pretty good, and we just need Calvin Ridley to step up. I think Tony Pollard's going to have a big match here, lots of yards. And dude, maybe even fuck it, just throw a little spice in there, some Okonkwo fucking catches. I love that, bro. I think the Titans are going to be. I think Cam Ward's going to get his first fucking win against the Houston Texans. So Daniel Jones and the Colts at the Rams versus Matthew Stafford. So here's the narrative in my brain. Daniel Jones, current MVP candidate, best offense in the league, 3-0. He beat the Dolphins, who look really bad, who are still a little bit dysfunctional, and his defense helped him a lot in that match. Next week, he beat the Broncos. They won because of a bullshit penalty that shouldn't have happened. And honestly, though, like, he did play one of the better defenses in the league in the Broncos, so it was a close game, win or lose. It wouldn't really change my mind, but he did win, and he probably didn't deserve to win. I mean, he played well. He did play well. Maybe the defense didn't that game. I'm not really sure. Honestly, it was 2 weeks ago. I kind of forget. But week three, they played the Titans. They looked good, but his defense helped him again. I believe his defense helped him a lot again, even though he was like 18 for 25, like 225 yards or something. Daniel Jones is playing great, but his team is also playing great for the most part. And I noticed that like he went on a couple interview. I don't know if it was the Manning Cast or Pat McAfee show. He was like, oh, like it's nice, it's quiet here in Indianapolis, and maybe Daniel Jones just doesn't like the bright lights of the media of New York City, right? LA is another large city, right? The ones previously mentioned, right? I said Tennessee, which is a big football place, but not a big place like in reality, unless you're listening to country music. Denver, Colorado, no one cares about that place. And Miami, which is more known for its beaches than its football team, right? So, or its nightlife. So the Rams is like, I mean, they're not a big football. They're all bandwagoners over there in LA, but it's a big city. It's a big media city. So I would assume that maybe Daniel Jones will be under some pressure. I wish I knew more about like playing outside of a stadium versus playing in a stadium for each quarterback. But I don't really care that much, to be honest. I don't know if that's going to impact him playing indoors. I mean, for most people, they play better, from what I can tell. But I do feel like this one's going to be a shootout. And I just wish Daniel Jones will become really good friends with Matthew Stafford after this game. And for his career, maybe he tries to get Matthew Stafford to be his quarterback coach after Matthew Stafford retires. Because Matthew Stafford is one of the best quarterbacks to ever play the game. He's the original gunslinger in my mind. I think I've said that before. And, for Daniel Jones, he should kind of see it as Matthew Stafford is the cooler, more evil version of the quarterback that Daniel Jones should want to become. Whereas he's still kind of vanilla vicking it. Like, he should want to be more like Matthew Stafford in my mind. So I think the Rams are going to win. This is just such a stupid argument. I don't even know what the fuck I'm talking about. But I think the Rams are going to win. I think they're finally going to put a stop to the Colts. I think Puka's going to play great. I think Kyren Williams is going to play great. I think Matthew Stafford's going to play great. I think Devontae Adams will play like average. Maybe Tutu Atwell gets involved. Rams defense is always legit. Yeah, I mean, the Rams kind of threw it away against the Eagles last week, but those were like kicking issues, or yeah, kicking issues, really. So, I mean, the defense and the offense still played fine. Maybe I wish the offense was a little bit better last week, but they were playing the Eagles defense. Colts defense, legit. But I think Matthew Stafford is going to be able to read past them. So, picking the Rams. Jaguars and San Francisco. So, Trevor Lawrence, like, doesn't look great, but maybe it's serviceable. Like, Trevor Lawrence would look better if his receivers could catch the ball. The run game over there looks okay. If Trevor Lawrence's receivers could catch the ball, like, he wouldn't look so bad. So I think I'm actually just going to take Jacksonville to win this one because whether Mac Jones plays with is his knee, is an MCL sprain, or Brock Purdy plays coming back off of whatever injury he had, I can't imagine he's going to have much practice. And, I'd like to see Brock Purdy play, or Mac Jones. I mean, Mac Jones, if he gets a revenge game on a broken knee, like, cool. If Brock Purdy plays, I like that. Brock Purdy did not look good last season, but seasons prior, he looked good. I don't really know what to think of this game. I think it's more unknown to me on both teams, just because, like, Jaguars' offense is so bad. I don't know anything about their defense, and then San Francisco has a bunch of injuries, so I really just don't know what to think. Obviously, Christian McCaffrey can just win this game on his own. Um, yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, if Brock Purdy plays, like, I guess he could win it, but, like, I just don't really see it. Going back to the Chargers-Giants game really fast, like, I mean, it's Jackson Dart's first start, so, like, I mean, what are the odds he actually wins? Like, just because he's a rookie in his first start, like 30%, and then the Chargers are, like, pretty good, so it's got to be lower than that. But yeah, I'll take the Jaguars. Ravens-Chiefs, so this one's going to be wild because I think there's enough offensive weapons for the Ravens that somebody on the field is going to be open, and Lamar Jackson is going to put the ball in the open area because he's developed thus far in his career where he is able to do that. Last week, I believe I mentioned in the Lions game that the game could go either way, and I picked the Ravens to win it. I was wrong, but what I mentioned is that Lamar was going to try to save his mobility until later in the season when he needs it. Now, he could have used it in that game. I mean, I will look up the stats while I continue to talk. He could have used it in that game against the Lions, but I thought he was going to save it so that he could be healthier. I think it is finally time for Lamar to rush. So he actually did use it in that game a little bit. He did 7 rushes for 35 yards. Now, I feel like he might rely on that a little bit more in this game because the Chiefs should be blitz heavy with Spags. And also, I believe Lamar needs to take it upon himself to shut down the narrative of Derrick Henry's fumbles. Because if he lets that lingers and, the media says, like, oh, the Ravens are shit, they can't close out games, Lamar's a running back, whatever they say, um, you just can't have that. You can't have that in the atmosphere for the Baltimore Ravens. And, I think he's going to do everything in his power to stop that from happening, along with, I believe, someone will always be open, just because they have so many weapons. And obviously Derrick Henry's still Derrick Henry, regardless of whether he fumbles or not. I imagine the Chiefs are going to stack the box, so that will make Lamar a better passer. And then on the Chiefs side, it's like, okay, cool, we're going to throw the ball to Tyquan Thornton for some reason, and our run game sucks, and Mahomes doesn't look as good as he usually does. I mean, that can be fixed by maybe throwing the ball to Hollywood Brown more in his revenge game against the Ravens. Maybe he holds a vendetta for not signing him and, sending him off to Arizona. I don't know. But, I mean, do I think the Chiefs can win? Yeah, I think the Chiefs can win. I think the Ravens defense is pretty good. Obviously, it can go either way. It's going to be a very interesting 4-25 game. But I'd probably just say that the Ravens are going to win based off of likelihood. I don't even know. Next game, Bears versus the Raiders. So the Bears shit on the Cowboys. Still don't know what to think of their defense. Raiders O-line is dog shit. I wish I mean, I know the Raiders defense isn't very good. This game also, like many of the games this week, can go either way. Um, I mean, let's just run it back from week 1. Seahawks Cardinals could go either way. Vikings Steelers could go either way. Commanders Falcons could go either way. Bills Saints is probably just the Bills, but I made the argument that it could go either way. Browns Lions probably shouldn't go either way. I think that's just a Lions lock. Panthers Patriots, I want to say that's a Panthers lock. Chargers Giants is definitely the Chargers. Eagles Buccaneers should definitely be the Eagles. Tennessee Houston could go either way, but I want to say it should be the Titans, right? Colts Rams could go either way. Also, Daniel Jones is the theme of the week. That's why the background is dimes. Jaguars San Francisco can go either way. Ravens Chiefs can go either way. And then that brings us back to the fucking Raiders game. Like, dude, the Raiders, I don't really trust their secondary. Their pass rush doesn't look as dominant as it used to. Where is John Gruden? I mean, they're throwing to Jacoby Myers, who doesn't look as good as he does last season. Brock Bowers is hurt. We're throwing the ball to Trey Tucker for some reason. The one positive I'll say is that Geno's quarterback vision is still really good. Maybe he threw 3 picks last week or the week before that or whatever, but at least he can still read the field, which some quarterbacks in the league cannot do. They're first option quarterbacks, and that's that. At least Geno can get through his progressions. So I don't know. It's really close. I didn't really make a very good argument for the Raiders, but I just feel like maybe Geno can make it happen. Like, I don't know. With everything I just said, I should probably say the Bears are going to win. But I mean, honestly, you just need Geno to like actually start connecting with Jacoby Myers, and they should win. Like, you don't need much. You just need Jacoby Myers and Geno to beat the Bears, I think. But I don't really feel like they've had that yet. But maybe this is the game. So I'm going to say the Raiders. If you want to pick the Bears, whatever. So primetime Sunday night, Packers Cowboys. So I think the Packers are going to bounce back. Cowboys are without CeeDee Lamb because he hurt his ankle. Now, I don't. Apparently the Cowboys have a bad defense. I guess that's a trend that's going to continue, which is very strange. I feel like that's unusual. Um, so, like I said, the Packers receivers don't really have that high of a ceiling, but Cowboys defense is not very good, so it doesn't matter. Packers should score a lot here. The only benefit I can see to not having CeeDee Lamb on the field is that you will start running 2 and 3 tight end sets. And they have Jalen Tolbert and they've got somebody else, and maybe I mean I don't know. George Pickens is a weird one, but when you start running these weird sets and maybe you get Miles Sanders more involved, that makes you as an offense less predictable. Now, do I think because like I think the Packers defense is really good. I think they're much better than the Cowboys defense at least this season. Just because you're unpredictable doesn't mean you're going to win the game. Because the Packers defense is better and their offense should score more. So I'm just going to pick the Packers. Jets Miami. This is another one that's super close. I think the win condition here for the Jets is it's Justin Fields plays. He needs to run and run fast, and maybe try to get the ball to Garrett Wilson. If Tyrod plays, the win condition is Tyrod stays healthy and plays game manager. Because if Tyrod decides to start running and gets a concussion, the game is over. So if you have anybody who is not going to get hurt as the Jets quarterback, you can just keep handing the ball to Breece Hall. If Breece Hall gets over 20 touches, I think the Jets will win. If Breece Hall gets under 20 touches, or a Jets quarterback dies mid-game, I think this is easily a Miami Dolphins win. Um, I think the Dolphins have been through enough. Okay, I think they deserve a win in prime time, but I am going to pick the Jets because I just feel like it's more likely. A lot of like what ifs this week because it's I mean it's a tough week to predict. So I'm just gonna go with the what ifs. The what ifs is if Breece Hall has a good game, the Jets win. If he doesn't, and if the Jets quarterback dies, like Miami's gonna win. I feel like they've been through enough. Like I really do. I feel like they deserve a win, but they just might not get it. And the last game is the Bengals versus the Broncos. What's that guy's name? Jake Browning. I don't like that guy. I don't think he has what it takes. The Broncos look not good on offense, and I think that it's going to be a defensive game, and the Broncos have a better defense, so the Broncos should win. Um, when they win, they should immediately contact the Bengals and say, "Hey, Joe Burrow's dead. Your season is over. You signed T. Higgins to a really shitty contract where you don't have to pay him any money. We'll give you some draft picks for T. Higgins." And if the Broncos had T. Higgins across from Courtland Sutton, not only could T. Higgins become the wide receiver one there, but they would also just fix their offensive problems. They would open up a lot for J.K. Dobbins, who could get hurt. Because what happens if J.K. Dobbins gets hurt? The Broncos have nothing, right? So I really think they should trade for T. Higgins. I think it's maybe one of the better landing spots for him. And it would open up their passing game a lot and make them a real, true competitor, which I thought they would be, but they're not. They are definitely not. I thought they were a playoff lock. They are not. So I think they need T. Higgins, like realistically. And that's the video.